Welcome to the Business Family Marriage Podcast with Tim Smoyer. This is his personal podcast where he shares what he's learning about growing a 7-figure business while also raising 7 children and deepening his relationship with his wife at the same time. He shares what he's learning, what's worked, what hasn't, what he's trying next to grow a fruitful business, family, and marriage. For more on that today, here's Tim.
Well, hello, good morning. It's good to see you guys again. Sorry it's been a few weeks since I posted an episode here. Our family came down with COVID, all of us. Almost all of us. My wife and my son had it back in April and quarantined and did all that. And then all the kids got this like 24 to 48 hour thing. It was pretty bad. And I ended up getting it, except for apparently when you're in your 40s, I don't respond to it the same way as my 9-year-old does. They had a fever and, just really sick and really tired for, a day or two. I got hit for 2 weeks. It was rough. I mean, it was bad. I know we know how bad it is. You hear all the stories. I mean, not a friend of mine, it's an acquaintance of mine, I should say, got COVID and now can't laugh without coughing because of scar tissue on his lungs and things. So I knew it was bad, but for me, I was just wiped out so hard. I didn't lose my taste. I only lost the good taste buds and everything tasted nasty. I was really tired. I just felt miserable and I had some of like psychological effects that people report with it. For me, just like feeling anxiety, feeling stuck, feeling, it was bad. So I don't wish it on anyone, but it did take me, I was going through that for a solid 2 weeks before I started to start feeling a little bit better. And then after I started feeling a little bit better, and then I was able to catch up on work stuff at video creators and family stuff. And now that we're mostly back on track again, I've got still got a little bit of a cough in there. Sorry, a little COVID left over. But yeah, this morning I was like, well, sit down, catch up with these people. It's been a little while. It's our Sabbath morning, Shabbat morning, Saturday morning, where we are just chilling around the house. My wife is gone this weekend. She's out camping with some ladies. That's right. My wife went camping without the rest of the family. Took the tent, took the sleeping bag, and a whole bunch of other stuff. And it's like a church group thing that the ladies go camping. So she's off doing that. And every other Saturday, our kids get about an hour or two of screen time. And so they get a total of about 2 to 4 hours of screen time a month, and they're doing that right now. Normally, it's a time where we do it collectively as a family, but it's a little bit of a struggle sometimes to find something that everyone from our 3-year-old to me want to watch, and so right now, the older 4 kids decided that they wanted to play Minecraft on Xbox together, and the younger 3 wanted to watch Puppy Dog Pals and PJ Masks. So they're in separate rooms doing that. And so I was by myself thinking, yeah, let's get this episode out and catch up a bit. We've also been busy with hiring. My goodness, yeah. A lot going on with that. Hired a new assistant admin person 2 weeks ago now, but they started this week. And then so they're getting trained in. We've got a new strategist that we're training, YouTube strategist, and I've started conversations with a few people about hiring another admin as well as needing to hire another YouTube strategist. So yeah, our team keeps growing, and which sounds good, but it is good. I mean, I shouldn't have said it like that. It is good. But the but is that for me as a business owner, it gets a little challenging to ensure all the math continues to work, because as you maybe know, that the more people you add to your team, the more overhead expenses there are. There's more expense with communication, and there's more expense with tools that we need to do, and there's more expense with travel, and there's more expense with everything just takes a little bit longer, and because there's a little bit more communication and just things become more moving parts and things need to happen to get stuff done. And so it's not a bad thing, but that overhead creep tends to come in. And so instead of profitability being at a, maybe profitability was at 50%, now it's at like 40%. And before you know it, you're at 0%. So you're not making any money. So hiring the team to keep up with demand is good, but sometimes that means that we've got to adjust our pricing in order to maintain profitability. So I've been doing math and numbers and stuff like that to keep some of that stuff profitable. So, but that's not really what I was thinking we talk about today. This podcast, the thing I really enjoy talking about is that intersection between family and business, specifically the skills that we acquire and develop in running a successful business. A lot of those skills also translate to running a successful, fruitful family. And one of the lessons that Dana, my wife, and I have really been hit with lately is this idea of setting priorities and setting boundaries. Now, let's talk about it from the business perspective first, because I think most people do a better job with this in their business than they do in family. And we'll talk about that. I think there's some reasons why that kind of just makes natural sense that way. But in the business, we have to set boundaries because the success of the business often rides on whether or not you can say no to good things so that you can say yes to the best things. That's kind of the main overarching principle here for both family and for business. So it's really easy as a business grows for more and more opportunities to come in and more options become available in terms of products, in terms of services, in terms of charging and clients and a lot of different things. And what happens, and this is very common, is that the bigger the business grows, the more profitable it becomes, the more success that it has, the easier it is for the business to lose focus of its original mission and intent, the thing that created the growth in the first place, and become more and more generic to the point where this business now is doing a ton of different things and no one really knows what this business is about anymore, where it's going, and it kind of feels like it's lost its mission, and then it kind of slows down, and then it starts to decline. And so I really like a book called The Pumpkin Plan by Mike Michalowicz. I read it years ago when I was at a pivotal point in my business. At the time, it was me and one other guy here on the Video Creators team, and I was capped out completely. We weren't making a ton of money, but we were making enough to support our family and just get by on a pretty meager budget. And I had no time left for anything. I was stressed. We had enough clients to kind of float us, but for one client, I was doing YouTube channel management. I think for like 2 clients actually. For another one, I was just doing strategy. For someone else, I was just like on retainer. For someone else, I was giving input into their YouTube software as like a advisor type of role. And I was making content. I was doing like all these different things. And I knew I wanted to go to business, but I didn't know how because I didn't have any time to do anything else other than serve the people who are already there, and I was just capped at that amount of revenue that they were paying me, and so I was stuck. I wasn't trying to get to the next level. I read The Pumpkin Plan, and So the principle in the book is basically the way you grow a prize-winning pumpkin / business is that you start with a prize-winning seed / idea, and you plant this seed idea, and you nurture it, you water it, it starts to grow, and as it starts to grow, there'll be several different pumpkins that begin to grow on the vine. And in order to grow a prize-winning pumpkin, you need to start cutting off all the other pumpkins on the vine so all the nutrients can flow into growing one prize-winning pumpkin. And he describes those other pumpkins on the vine as distractions that are disguised as opportunities. And that really stood out to me, especially in the context of the rest of the book, which is like, to be a successful business, you have to decide, what are we going to be the best in the world at? What do I want to be? And that was a tough question for me. Like, what do I want to be the best in the world at? Honestly, some of the work I was doing for clients, like channel management, I don't like doing that. Optimizing their titles, writing new descriptions, giving them new tags, creating their playlists and their end screens. And back then, that kind of made a bigger impact on channel growth. Today, it doesn't at all. But even back then, I wasn't like, I don't know, is this really like a necessary service? Am I really serving these people well? And I decided I wanted to be the best in the world at doing custom YouTube strategy for creators who have a mission behind what they're doing on YouTube. And so I looked at what I was doing, where my time was going, and I'm like, these clients, some of these are not really clients I enjoy working with. They're really demanding, and I don't feel like they're paying me enough for what they are asking me to do. And so which is a whole, I guess, a different issue with pricing and things that I've since learned. But the short story is, I decided in order to do that, I need to make more time to do that. And so, with my wife's permission, I fired about a third of the clients, which was not a sustainable point for me in that business. In the business at the time, it was not a livable wage. I was basically telling my wife, and we didn't really have a tremendous amount of savings. I had some savings and was at the time spending it on the one guy who was with me, which I told him, I was like, I'm going to pay you this amount of money, like $3,000 here. This needs to turn into $9,000 for me in order for this math to keep making sense. And so I let go of a whole bunch of clients. The channel management stuff, I kept the strategy clients because that was more aligned with where I wanted to go. And it was scary. For a few months, we were not making enough money to live on. And I remember how stressful that was. But what it did, one, is it lit a fire under me to replace that. Because so much of our story at the beginning of our business is not like this really, I don't know. It seems like some of these popular businesses today that get lots of attention have some really cool story. Ours was I was not fired, but I was let go from the company. They were going a different direction, and I had 6 months before I knew I was going to be out of a job, and I had no backup plan other than video creators. There was nothing else. There was no plan B. There was no safety net. There was no job offer I could take if I really needed it. It was like do or die, back against the wall, that you have to work because this is the only way out. And I felt that same, that's when I started Video Creators, and then I felt that way again during this period as well. So, and so I worked really hard, and it was a pretty intense season, but within 3 months I replaced the clients I let go with clients that I actually enjoyed working with and was more aligned with the thing I really enjoyed doing and wanted to be the best in the world at. But ever since then, and this has been throughout the business, this question of eliminating or saying no to distractions that are disguised as opportunities has been really important for the growth of the business. That's saying no to speaking gigs. that would otherwise be kind of prestigious. No, that does not help me get towards our goal of being the best in the world at doing YouTube strategy for mission-minded businesses and brands and creators and all that. It means saying no to really big clients who would pay several 5 figures for work that would take me maybe only 2 or 3 days to complete. I mean, it's good money, but no, I can't do that, right? It is not hiring someone who looks like they would be on paper a really good qualified person, but their core values don't quite align with ours. And so it's like hiring this person would be a huge opportunity for us. They could bring in so much work and so many clients, but that being a slightly off on some of these core values, like, no, I can't hire. I gotta hire someone who's like, quote unquote, a nobody, right? And in terms of this industry, and train them from scratch because their values do align with us. Like, and in the long run, that'll be better for us. Like, so it's really important for the business to stay focused and on track. One thing that you would think would be really important for me, but I haven't been doing, is publishing YouTube videos. It's been about a year since I published one. I had a pretty big physical, not meltdown, break. I don't know what you call it. It's just stress-induced too much. I've made over 4,000 YouTube videos on multiple different channels and in different times, season of this journey. But I just needed a break. And so I haven't really published any content for the past year, just saying no to a good thing so I can say yes to the best thing, which is taking care of myself and getting my health and things back on track. But it's always so tempting to say yes to the speaking gig, to say yes to the client, to say yes to this new way of making, like adding the Patreon or adding the merch or this making this online course or like whatever. It's like if you don't know what the win is, it's really easy to say yes and become really distracted and really busy and not getting anywhere at the end of the day, right? You're just that proverbial hamster wheel where you've got a lot of things going on and it's all stressful and it all feels really important and urgent, but at the end of the day, is it really moving the business forward, and is it really serving you and your family well? I just recently finished a book called Essentialism, which kind of takes the same idea to a new level. Looking at it's a little different than that, but the principle is basically the same. And I would recommend that book too. I start with Pumpkin Plan personally, especially if you've got a smaller, newer business, and then go to Essentialism. But in terms of the family, Dana and I have been working through very similar things. First of all, what is a win for our family in this season? And I really want to have a conversation with a friend of mine named Rich Tile about this and give you guys a practical system called OKRs, which we use in our business, Objectives and Key Results. Google uses them, Intel uses them, Twitter uses them, like all these big companies use OKRs. And they work really well in a family context, which we'll talk about in a future episode. But part of that process helps you define what is the win for this season. And in business language, that means like, what's our objective for this quarter? But in family language, it's like, which could still be a quarter. I mean, we do in our own family OKRs, we do go quarter by quarter. But what is a win? Defining what that is first. And then what's going to help us get there? And so there was a season, and we get this request a lot still, people asking us, hey, when are you guys going to start making family videos again? We really miss what your wife was doing on Reclaiming Motherhood on that YouTube channel. As a busy mom, like that was like so encouraging and life-giving to me to watch those videos. And then you stopped, like, can you do that again? And we're like, no, we can't. We don't have the bandwidth for it anymore because we decided to say yes to some of these other things. One of those things we had a nanny, and we had to let her go because we were putting our middle 4 kids in school. And so they're in third grade, the twins are in kindergarten, and then our son Toby is in first grade. And that was because we are in a season where my wife just needs more space at home without the kids here. There's a whole lot of things going on behind that, but that's just during this season we need. So we put the kids in school, and our family rhythm is like, woo, it is way different now because of that, and it is becoming so easy for us to now be pulled in all these different directions and sacrifice a lot of time and relationships together because of that decision. I'm not saying it was the wrong decision. I'm just saying like, oh wow, that decision really impacted a lot of other things, which we expected it would, but didn't really know until we tried it. And so what's happening now is like those kids are in school from 8:30 to 3:30 every weekday, and then we got something going on almost every night of the week. Monday nights, Dana and the girls go to like this Christian Girl Scouts types of things. On Tuesday nights, me and the boys go to this like Christian Boy Scouts type of thing. On Wednesday night, Dana's got her Bible study. On Thursday night, I do my men's Bible study. And then on Friday, we have our Sabbath dinner, and sometimes that's with other families. Sometimes it's just us. And so, and then we at least have Saturday, but then Saturdays, like sometimes the Christian Boy Scouts think called Trail Life, or American Heritage Girls, like those things got stuff, events going on that we want to do. And then Sunday is like our work day around the house, around the properties when my wife does her grocery shopping, and we've got, and we added on Airbnb that we're renting an apartment on Airbnb. We're renting out an apartment of ours on Airbnb. And so we've got that cleaning and turnover to do because it's sold solid. My goodness. I think we just started it, about, 2-3 months ago, but so there's a lot going on with that. On top of it now, Hannah and Ezekiel, our oldest two kids, want to start doing youth group. They're in 6th grade, and where we live, that is considered middle school. So they want to go to church youth group stuff. And at some point, like, we just have to say no to something. And it just is really making it clear to me that if there's not like a focused vision that drives our family forward right now, like what are we trying to accomplish in this season? It is so easy for every night to get filled with something, every day to be filled with something. And before you know it, the things that we say are the most important to us are the things that are getting the least amount of attention. So, and then when that starts happening, and we can kind of see some of the effects of this, like the family's no longer winning, I won't go into too many details about that, but yes, some people are thriving, which is great. Some people are not. And so there's just some tough decisions that need to be made. So in our case right now, just, for clarity, we are committed to keeping the kids in school until Christmas. At Christmas, Dana and I will reevaluate. We have some kids that just are begging us every morning for them to stay home and not have to go to school. And then we have other kids who are doing great with it. And, so we'll reevaluate that. So we can tell the kids right now, like, we're not just going to whip back and forth from this thing to that thing. And we're just like, hey, this is what we said we're going to do. We commit to this amount of time. And then that time we'll reevaluate. So, I just been thinking ourselves in terms of business and family, that it's really important to say no to good things. And we are saying no to youth group for this church youth group for our older two kids during this season. Maybe in January they'll back out of the Boy Scout or Girl Scout thing and do the youth group thing instead. I don't know. We'll just have to kind of wait and see what happens and how things go there. But this is a struggle, and sometimes it's not clear what is the good thing, not what is the best thing. But if we say as a family that relationships with each other should be our primary relationships that give us life, then what does that how do we get closer to that? And the answer isn't always clear, but it feels more like a 2 steps forward, 1 step back, a little of a trip and a stumble here, just a pause for a little while, but ultimately, big picture moving forward, which is what we're looking for. So yeah, just some thoughts that run through my head here for the past couple weeks. As always, I'd love to hear what you guys think. You can use the link in the show notes here to leave a voice message or to ask a question that you want me to answer for in a future episode. Or you guys really seem to like it when Dana and I sat down together and did that one episode about her reaction to our current work-life balance. If you got a question you want the two of us to answer together, or you got feedback from me based on like, hey Tim, here's some advice for you, basic what I hear you're struggling with and things, please use that leave voicemail thing. I love hearing from you guys. I can talk for 25 minutes apparently into a microphone. It's kind of like just talking to a fire hydrant, you're just sitting here talking to an inanimate object. But I do it because I think that there's other people I know. There's people on the other side listening, and hopefully you're listening, hopefully because it's helpful for you. But I would love to learn and hear from you guys too, and be encouraged, be challenged, the same way. So appreciate you guys doing that. Use that link, leave a voice message, and I'm going to go check on the kids. Thank you guys for hanging out, and looking forward to getting back in the swing of doing more of these episodes. So thanks, guys. Have a great weekend.